my name is Dana Golden. Today we're picking back up in our lecture on market microstructure and regulation. Once again, none of this is legal advice. So how does hedging work? Traditionally, you hedge by buying or selling a set of physical commodity and selling or buying an offset of the financial equivalent. You can do this the other way. You might have a financial position and you want to buy a physical position to deal with this. Normally, you're using the financial position to hedge the physical position. You buy physical oil, you sell physical oil futures. And the idea here is your positions are matched up so that you aren't exposed to price risk and you've locked in a price normally by taking some cost. You're locking a price and protecting its price risk. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes you can make large revenues by taking a directional bet on prices, and maybe you want to hedge a portion of that instead of hedging all of it, or maybe you want to hedge a small portion of that so you're not totally exposed to risk. But yeah, you're allowed to have directional bets when you're buying and selling commodities. And you do this by making the financial and physical positions of different sizes. So when does hedging stop and start becoming market manipulation? When are you not allowed to do hedging? Trafigura is an example of this. Trafigura bought physical oil in Louisiana to export to Singapore through the Platts window. They sold futures to the hedged position, but the derivative position was much larger than the physical position. This was seen as problematic by the CFTC because it directly influenced the Platts daily index window and changed the price in the other market. Here's the idea that one of their positions was much larger, their financial position was much larger than their physical position. They're able to use one of their positions to make a bet. They're allowed to make a directional bet, but the CFTC said, actually, you're using this to influence the Platts daily index because you're a buyer, and so that influences the cost of your financial position because your physical trades are being made to the Platts window. CFTC pursued. If Trafigura was using the physical trades to influence the financial trade, this was illegal. How do you prove this? Trafigura's response, which I think is a response of basically everyone in this sort of case, is, yeah, this is just what I would do anyways. How else did you expect me to buy oil to export to Singapore? I buy it through the Platts window, and I hedge like this. The CFTC says, well, why is your financial position so much larger than your physical position? And then Trafigura will rightly respond, well, actually, I wanted to bet that I thought oil prices were going to move in this way. I thought oil prices were going to go down, so I made a directional bet, even though I had a physical position. And then you have to decide, when you're pursuing this case, how much do you believe Trafigura was really doing an economic bet, or was it actually manipulating the market? And it's very hard to prove in these situations. This is a very difficult one. I am pretty much on Trafigura's side here. I think this looked like a very normal trade to me, and I think most other people thought this was a normal trade. Enron is an example of not normal trade. They did a lot of illegal things, including very bad bookkeeping. They had Arthur Andersen was their accounting firm, and they bankrupted Arthur Andersen, which was historically one of the biggest accounting firms and one of the most successful accounting firms. Arthur Andersen would have turned over in his grave where he didn't know what Enron did. My dad worked at Arthur Andersen, learned a lot about them, but he left well before the scandal. So the company dramatically overstated revenues. Enron also made a lot of money by manipulating the CAISO market. This was, interesting enough, called Operation Death Star, which is just such a lovely name for a clearly illegal operation. So basically the idea of what they did to... By the way, I never said this in any of this. I didn't say any of this, but I want to be very clear. All the things I'm talking about doing, don't. When I say Enron made a bunch of money by manipulating markets, don't do that. Don't do that. That's bad, so don't do it. So Death Star is one example of him manipulated the CAISO market as they scheduled a fictitious energy transmission in a loop that flows in the opposite direction to the congestion transmission path. You'll learn more about what this means during our electricity markets class, but basically they activated congestion relief payments to themselves by creating artificial activities that ended up costing Kaiso a lot of money, and this helped lead almost directly to the blackouts in California, which stopped the movement towards wholesale markets in the United States because of the California energy crisis. Yes, that's Enron. They did a bunch of fraud. Another group of people who did a bunch of fraud was Ketchup Caddy. Ketchup Caddy was a participant in MISO, who basically what they did, they were originally founded to sell an in-car ketchup holder in case that's something you want, in case you're using ketchup enough that you need a car holder. Apparently that was not lucrative, and so they decided to get in demand response, which is basically they were offering reduced use of electricity if they got payments from the Mid-Continent's independent system operator. And eventually, it turned out they were registering fake resources. They were basically registering people who had not agreed to participate in the program, and they were only caught after a couple of years. It was only figured out after a couple of years that these resources were not real, and they got in a lot of trouble. Demand response is seen by a lot of people as a major solution to the electricity problem. And I don't disagree. I think long-term has a lot of solution. Right now, demand response is a lie. There's a lot of fraudulent players in this market, particularly Ketchup Caddy, who I guess also sells ketchup holders. And I'm sure there's someone out there who legitimately bought the in-car ketchup holder and is just devastated that they participated in a fraudulent company when all they want to do was keep ketchup in their car. So now we're going to end the lecture, and then next time we'll finish up with a look at the order book. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.